that back wheel gets loose quick. Good morning, bird brains, and welcome back to another Bike and Bird Motovlog. We're on the Speed Triple today. Heading down to the local Cycle Gear. I need to pick up some lube, chain lube to be specific, not anal. Mostly because I haven't owned a bike with a chain in like 5 years or so, so I just don't have that stuff. So I'm gonna go pick some of that up and take her home and give her a bath and get her all lubed up and shiny and oh, sexy like. Also, these brakes are no joke, man. They got the dual discs on the front. They do not slouch. Feels good to be back on a sport bike though, I have to admit it. Not that I dislike my Harley. I love my Harley to death. It's just a different bike. That's what I don't understand, why people are so, what's the word? I think arrogant is probably the best fitting word when it comes to different kinds of bikes and things like that. For example, I don't know how many of you guys caught Shade Tree Surgeon's video about how Harley Davidson has ruined motorcycles. I love Shade Tree Surgeon. I mean, I probably connect better with him than any other motovlogger out there. Maybe Blockhead. Me and him are pretty damn similar. But there was a lot of negative feedback on that video from both sides. That's what blew my mind. Is it was really like both sides were doing the exact same thing and then calling out the other side for what that side was doing. Let me put that in an example to kind of clear that up a little bit. So I saw one guy comment, this guy was on a sport bike side commenting towards the Harley side, if you want to divide them up, saying basically like he hates Harley guys, all of them are fat, old, and quote, hate every other person because of what type of bike they ride. So granted, he put in some examples of why he hates said group of people, but then categorizes him just the exact same way he got mad at the other person categorizing him. Basically, in general, he said that people who hate other people because of what type of bike they ride are bad, but people who ride this certain type of bike are those kind of people. Oh man, I don't understand it. And it's the exact same way in the car scene. It's the exact same way in the car scene. I would say where this is heaviest in the car scene would be imports versus domestics. I would say that feud has probably been going on for as long as there's been imports and domestics. Imports call domestics ugly and fat and slow. Domestics call imports slow and cheap and bad quality, and the list goes on and on. I will say though, in the car world, they have a little bit more leeway, and that's just basically because of my upcoming point here. Going back to motorcycles here for a second, I don't understand the cruiser sport bike feud simply because there is not one bike that can do everything. Now hear me out, okay? When I say everything, hear me out. Find me a bike that I can take off-road, take cross-country, have a passenger comfortably, has tons of storage, goes fast, and looks great. Oh, and also can compete in MotoGP. There's not a single bike on the planet that can do all of those things well. Now, the reason I say it's a little bit different in the car world is because nowadays cars are getting a little bit more, I don't know, even? Basically, I mean, you've seen lately in the past, decade or so, the Corvettes, the Cadillac CTSVs, the Mustangs, they all used to be very straight line performance type vehicles. And now they're, competing on the Nuremberg and things like that, focusing a lot more on handling and track packages and things like that. So that's how the cars kind of differ. But when you look at a 2017 Yamaha R1 and compare it to a 2017 Harley Street Glide, you're looking at two completely different bikes. They're completely different in every single way, shape, and form. And they're used for different things. Hence why I have two separate kind of bikes. Now, my two bikes really don't make sense because the Sportster is not for long distances, it's more for street riding, and then the Triumph is really not for long distances, it's more just for city riding. But the Harley looks good, the Triumph looks good too, but Harley looks, I I'm not gonna say better because I'll get ripped apart, but it looks different in its own better kind of way. But the Harley is not nearly as fast as the Triumph. That is honestly one reason why I've really come to like the Moto Amino app. Now, I'm not sponsored by these guys like the bigger motovloggers are or anything like that. I'm not getting paid to say this, but seriously, if you enjoy motorcycles as more of like a passion, I don't know, it's kind of a gay word to say, but, and I don't mean gay as in homosexual, there's a lot of just open-mindedness, and there's not that much hate in that app that I've, for what I've seen. I don't know if they moderate it well, or if they filter that well, or if it's just a community of people that like to ride motorcycles, but I have noticed there's a lot more involvement, even in the wording of the comments. Like I've had people say, I'm not a cruiser guy, but that looks good, or you know, things like that. Like they'll let you know, like, hey, I usually don't like these kind of things, but I respect what you did, and things like that. So go ahead and download that if you haven't already. If you have downloaded it, go follow me at Biking Bird, just the same as everything else. I am interested to see, now that I'm on a sport bike, how many Harley riders actually wave to me, just so I can see what everyone cries about so much. Oh man, I didn't do tunnel exhaust. Wow, what am I, new? How do these mirrors go on? Does anybody know? I don't think anybody knows. It's pretty badass. Little stunt bike. I don't know if I told you guys, but she already has a name. For those of you who don't know me personally or have not been fans of the channel for a while now, I name all of my toys, whether it be bikes, motorcycles, cars, I guess bikes and motorcycles are the same thing, trucks, cars, motorcycles, anything like that, I name after a famous porn star. Now, they're not my favorite porn stars or anything like that, they're just a porn star. And I've already come with a name for the Speed Triple, and her name is Riley, after Riley Reid. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.